Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist.
This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening.
It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and you...
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right. Right before I ask you about what it is that you want to work on, I want to check and follow up on the rage thing that we talked about last time and it coming up in conversation. And just, did you, if you had any work around that or insight around that you want to share?
Yeah, I had a really triggering event happen yesterday. And I felt my different parts that come up around that. They are the same parts that I mentioned about the trailhead last time we talked.
Okay.
And so I immediately felt tons of anxiety and tons of shame and worthlessness. I felt abandoned and basically I wasn't worthy of love. And then as that situation kept rolling, and it didn't show any signs of letting up, I did feel the rage coming in, and it's just like I saw it as, oh, here it is coming in to try to have my back. And I didn't express it in that way. I just said, hey, it's all right. I've got this. I really appreciate, you coming in to have my back, your support, your defense. But I think that a little bit less of this will be better. Please let me handle it, and then I'll come back and hang out with you later. So I did. That worked out really well. But what ended up happening is that I felt completely defenseless. And so it was nice that I didn't add fuel to the fire. I didn't reinforce someone else's negative beliefs about me or my negative beliefs about myself. That's fantastic. That's a huge, huge step. But at the same time, for quite some
rage
time
wasn't there to
that,
get your back.
Well, yeah, not only was it not there to get my back, I was fully there in my exile.
Right.
And trying to comfort my exile, trying to be there for my exile. And that was so much more difficult than raging.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good lesson. I appreciate you sharing that, because I guess that's one of the potential, risks when we're working with protectors and we don't have the connection with the exiles, and then we're we're having them step back, and then that's what we're left with. So
yeah, it was a good couple hours where I was just completely shook. You know, I was just literally shaking. I felt weak all over my body. Like I felt like I had no grip. I had no speed, no reaction speed, nothing. I felt completely weak.
Yeah, disarmed
and just so sad and alone and abandoned and misunderstood.
Yeah,
all those things.
And if you can help me as I'm trying to learn how to do this, do you think, did it feel like the right move, or did it feel like, crap, this was a terrible intervention to work with this protector in this way? Like, should we have done something different, do you think?
No, it was absolutely correct. I've spent a bunch of time with it in the past week doing other things like moving heavy things around, playing basketball, playing with my kids. You know, I've given it the appropriate outlet, and I've had a good connection with it. It was 100% the right thing to do. It's just that that Exile is so burdened.
Yeah.
You know, and so without protection, that's it goes really deep, really fast.
Yeah. Well, it's really great that you're able to express and delineate all these parts so clearly.
Well, I wrote this morning, just as part of my morning exercise. You know, I'm what I do feel like is that I'm having like superficial check-ins. Like I'm trying to have a check-in, but I feel like one of my parts is just getting in the way of check-ins, and it's making it very superficial, very quick. And so then this morning I just tried to like access or locate this exile, which was so apparent yesterday. And so these are the things that I wrote. I wrote, abandoned, unloved, worthless piece of shit, always fucking shit up, never good, much less good enough. Life is falling apart. No one loves you. You are alone, and you will never be understood, accepted, loved. You will never be connected. So those are the things that I'm being told by the Exile. And then the protectors are, the firefighter is rage, isolation and resentment there. And then I also have the firefighter that I did very well with yesterday, which is the addict, because it was the end of the day, and you know, I would have typically, and it ran through my head like a freight train, alcohol, ice cream, weed, whatever I could do to self-soothe and to kind of like comfort myself in that moment. And so I said, there's that part, there's the addict, in that, you know, I gave him my appreciation and my acceptance and my love, but said that, you know, it's not the right response for now. And so I got like, you know, the skeleton has to trust me, the runner has to trust me, the addict has to trust me, the rage has to trust me. All these things have to trust me, but I'm not really, I'm still working very hard on the total self-acceptance. And I think that has to do with the fact that the burden is just, it's there.
Wow. Gosh, yeah, it's just so clear. I really appreciate how you're able to access all that and share all that.
Well, it's hard. You know, I tried to open up as well, which is a step further, rather than addictive behaviors, rather than isolating or turning to the rage, turning to resentment, pointing negativity outward. I tried to explain what was happening inside and where it was coming from, you know, in the direction that I was getting triggered from, right? I tried to explain that outwardly, and I couldn't help but feel that my reach for connection and my bid, my attempt to explain where I'm coming from and to recognize where they're coming from and to say, I completely understand, I get why you feel the way you do. You're right to feel that way. It's completely valid. And then here's where I'm coming from. Here's what happened inside my head. And then getting basically invalidated, being told, well, in more brevity, you're crazy. You're in your head.
Yeah. Okay. So just so I understand, you were explaining and sharing some of this internal dynamic and right to this other person, and that wasn't received in the way you would have hoped, and it felt safe.
Right. It did not feel safe. It felt like I was, putting myself in ever more dangerous situation, in that, like, I'm just not safe. And what does that mean? I've got 2 kids, and I've got a 17-year relationship, and I've got 2 houses, and there's a whole life here. How can I be in this life just not feeling safe all the time? And I the way I understand it is that feeling of safety it should be coming from within. It shouldn't be dependent upon another person's validation or acceptance or anything like that, So the exile is constantly looking, and there's the other protectors, which, the sprinter is performing constantly, and so if I'm putting all of my effort into something, and being a human, I'll make a mistake, even with the most meticulous care, there'll be something that I miss. And when that is found and it's harped upon, when it's really dug in, and the other person feels as though it's a personal attack, that something is overlooked on accident, then I feel as though everything that I do, which is literally for love, is in vain.
Yeah. Okay. So to get to contact and to work with that exile, as you know, we would normally check in with every protector along the way and build trust and work with whatever concerns they have. And so my question to you is, what part should we start with? And, I'm hearing this addiction part, this sprinter, these other parts that we haven't, you and I haven't really gone through that process with necessarily. So I'm asking you where you'd like to start, and if it would make sense to work with one of them first, or what your intuition is telling you about where to go today.
I've been talking, having dialogue, I guess, with each of these parts that are protectors. The only one that I'm really unable to get a hold of is this distractor part that I had told you about. That little 5-year-old kid that's always like throwing shit in the way and bolting, setting up booby traps, and it's just it feels like it's making my check-ins superficial, like I was saying. That's the only one that I've had a hard time I haven't really been able to connect with, but everyone else is on board, wants to stop doing what they're doing, wants to repurpose their energy, and wants me to help the exile.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Well, again, we can start wherever you like, or we could, the 2 kind of parts that I'm hearing that you'd like to do more work with sometime is this 5-year-old distractor, and then this other exile energy of worthlessness.
I think that maybe the right place to start is the part of me that feels it has to perform for love. It has to work and perform in order to be loved. And if the performance slips somehow, if there's a mistake that is made anywhere, all of a sudden the whole world is falling apart and I'm not loved. I'm going to be abandoned. I am abandoned. I'm losing everything and I'm falling apart.
Okay, sure. The performer. All right. Where do you notice it?
It seems to all come from the same place, between my stomach and my heart, like my solar plexus area, deep within. It's like a burning, high anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a feeling of being alone and of not being worthy, and so the best way to address that is to get people to love me by showing that I'm worthy.
Sure. And how do you feel towards that part as you notice it?
It's heartbreaking.
Uh-huh. You have sadness and sympathy for the position. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it's right. I think that it's unfair to do to a person like that.
Mm-hmm. And this can be kind of a tricky question. Does it feel like a pity kind of sadness, or does it feel more of coming from a compassion kind of place?
The way I feel toward it would be coming from more of a compassionate place. The way that it feels young, like everything is existential, everything is like either super happy or super upset.
Okay.
Very, very, very immature in that way, that there's no like middle ground. It's either I'm performing and I'm loved, or I've messed up my performance and everything's over.
Yes. Okay. So you have some compassion for it. You have some curiosity in getting to know it now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Okay. Go ahead and show it that curiosity.
I'm worried that there's a part here.
Uh-huh.
I'm worried that there's a part here that is placing too much hope and emphasis and weight in healing and exile and getting better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how do you respond to that?
I completely understand why. I understand where it's coming from. It makes complete sense to me, and it's how do you tell it's like, how do you tell a kid not to be excited when you're driving to a carnival? That's the way it kind of feels.
Yes. And it sounds like it's kind of maybe skeptical or
no,
doubt.
that would be another part that's saying, what if having all of this hope, what if that makes it superficial? What if that interrupts the process and gets in my way?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask that hope to kind of take a step back. That feels really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I'm hearing like, go anyway. Like, let this part be excited about growth. Just let it, let that part be there and be excited. But put my attention toward this performer,
Yes. if I can suggest, just really kind of advertising to them that your primary, for now, kind of your primary aim or position is one of curiosity and compassion, and that you're not going in with an agenda, and you're not making promises. We're coming from a curious place, because that's where we're going to start from, and maybe that's just, maybe that's all we can do is just stay curious and learn about whatever parts we talk to.
That's good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to settle a lot of parts down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this part is the same part as that track runner, that sprinter, the one that's running over the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It seems as though it's the same part, but somehow a track runner seems too old and organized and mature.
Okay.
And the track runner is constantly saying, "Get moving, get moving, get moving, get moving," and perform.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess this is where the track runner falls. This is that black hole that's collapsing the bridge, and the track runner falls into the hole. And I'm like, oh, the gig's up. I can't fool anybody into loving me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, that does sound more like kind of Exile energy. Sounds like the track runner does that protective job of keeping you from that. It's just my suspicion.
So I think maybe the way it seems right now is that there's a part that is very closely tied to the track runner.
Uh-huh.
And it feels like jubilant when the track runner is succeeding. And then
perhaps the cheerleader.
Right. No. It's like the, I don't know. It's like I'm watching a racehorse, and I put all my money on that racehorse, and the racehorse is out in front, and I'm like, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. People are in love with me. People love me. I'm supported. I'm doing a great job, like that. And then all of a sudden that horse's leg breaks and I've lost my entire life savings.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big burden. That's a lot to carry for any part.
So that's a good analogy for that track runner. All the money is on that track runner, on that
mm-hmm.
that sprinter going up and over the bridge.
Right. And with the understanding that if it fails, in comes the feelings of worthlessness. Right.
Not in comes, that equals. If it fails,
right.
I am worthless.
Right. Got it. Okay. And so that's essentially what we're focusing on, is that feeling of worthlessness, that part.
Yeah. Or just the part where the success of the runner is entirely an existential event.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's like childlike, and it's how happy and joyful it is when I'm receiving approval.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just like giddy, like, oh, finally, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I want. I'm worth something, I'm valuable. I'm a hard worker. I do good work,
yes.
And then, but then the exact opposite
right.
with any mistake.
And so were you able, and do you feel now that you're able to contact that part? Do you have other protectors coming up cautioning you about that work, or have any concerns about that work?
I guess I'm just having a little bit harder time visualizing the part. I think that my exiles are very hard to see.
Yes. Yeah, they take more developing, I think, typically. Protectors are kind of right in our face, and we got to go hunting for the exiles and watch them because they've been exiles. We're so distant from them. So that's why I return back to the feeling, to where it emanates from, and just stay with the feeling. And if you're feeling curious, and if you have those protectors stepped back, let it know that you're curious. Maybe that you'd like to see it more, you'd like to know it more.
Well, what came up is it's just like a little boy playing in the sandbox.
And about how old?
4 or 5.
Can you introduce yourself? Is he aware of you? And can you make yourself present to him?
Yeah, he wants to be happy to see me, wants to be excited and joyful, but too much of his existence is tied up worrying about what others think.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you? So you can show him that you understand, or at least have seen that dynamic. You've seen how hard that is to be dependent on these other parts, or to be pushed away by other parts.
I think I'm like losing track. Not like I'm not really able to make the connection I want to make. What's your proximity like with this part? The boy in the sandbox. It was like 5 feet away from the sandbox, standing, and now right when you asked that, I moved to sitting on the side of the sandbox. So again, sometimes you could try kind of like making eye contact, or turning towards him, or asking him to turn towards you. Again, just kind of introducing yourself. Yeah, he's like a skittish, beaten dog. Like it, wants love, but is just scared. Yeah, sure. And so you can't go at him too fast. I gotta kind of keep a little bit of distance and give him a space. Yeah. And you can also maybe show him that you see that fear.
Does that fear make sense to you? And you could ask anything, but you could ask if there's anything he'd like to tell you or to show you about himself or his world to help you understand him.
Well, he wants me to know that he's just really, really, really good. He's really good, and he's being completely mistreated. And it's not so much that he wants to show me that he's being mistreated. He just wants to let it be known that he's really good.
Mm-hmm. And how do you respond to that?
I know it. I completely agree.
Right. Great.
He just really wants someone to say wow, you are really good, because all he's hearing is the opposite.
Yeah, you can just show him how you feel. Is he responding to that?
Yeah, I'm having a bunch of shit come up, and it's really I just needed a dad. I needed my dad, and I had abusive stepfather after abusive stepfather, multiple marriages. And I really just needed my dad. And I asked my dad if he would save me, if I could live with them, and he said no.
Yeah.
And so all those negative perceptions of me got reinforced.
Yeah.
Repeatedly. And I feel like I've carried it into my adult life, and I'm like a self-fulfilling prophecy,
So that's the pain that he's showing you. He's showing you his reality of being fatherless, being abused, and it's powerful. And my question to you is, are you okay being with him now and witnessing that now?
Yeah, I'm with him.
Great. So you can just let him know that you're okay seeing that now. And that you want to see anything that he has to show you about his world, about his experience, to help you understand how he feels.
I've got a part telling me that I'm losing contact, telling me that that I'm getting distracted, bringing in, my current life circumstances and showing me, text messages and conflicts and
you can attend to all that stuff later, right? Yeah, it'll all still be there. I'll let that part know that you really want to understand this part, and understanding this part might really help you understand some of those current circumstances.
And it's just like I don't know what part it is. It's just telling me that I've had enough. I've had enough of being this person, of like seeing myself in this light and allowing other people to see me in this light and accepting that they see me in this light.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it. I'm so done being a piece of shit.
Yeah. That's the work we're doing. We're examining who you really are.
A lot of it feels inescapable, like the damage is already done.
Sure.
And it's been told to me, I have.
Is any of that coming from this specific part, this boy in the sandbox?
No.
Okay, other parts?
Outside forces, not even internal parts.
Okay. But I mean, when you're hearing it inside yourself now.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I guess it's a different part, a logic part, kind of like pointing to all the reasons I'm really not able to get past it.
Yeah. Are you able to ask that part to step back, or should we do more work with it? Because it's just as important. I mean, all these parts are important to get to know. We can only do one at a time.
I just want to reach out to that little boy and make him feel as though his performance doesn't really matter. He's good as he is, and he is good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's perfect. He's a little boy.
Yes. So ask those other parts that are jumping in to connect the dots today to just give you a little more time and space to do this work. Let them know that you'll work with them another time.
Yeah, there's just a sadness there. There's just a sadness there that I'm trying so hard.
And this little boy had to try so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just show him that you see that. And that you're still there. You didn't let those other parts take you out of it. But also, if you need to come out of it, if other parts are demanding your attention so much, then that's okay too. So yeah, if you can be with this boy, just keep doing that. Keep letting him show you whatever he needs to show you until he feels like you really get it.
Just showing me that nothing ever works. No matter how hard he tries, nothing lasts.
Yeah.
And it feels like, what's the point? Why am I trying so hard? I should just give up.
Right.
There's a feeling of like adult expectations of work on this little child, like knowing it's set up for failure. Like, okay, here, carry this 5-gallon bucket of water and don't spill a drop,
Right. Yeah. It sounds like you're doing great. Like he's willing to share all that with you. You're seeing it clearly. You're not being overwhelmed by it.
No, it certainly doesn't feel good.
Sure, because you love him. And again, you can step back anytime that if at any point you're feeling like it's too much, or you can ask him to share in a different way if it feels like too much. And if you're okay with it, just keep asking him to show you until he feels like you really get it.
There's this feeling of if I, it's like giving up is like, kind of like jumping off a boat and with an anchor on your ankle and like saying, okay, I'm just going to sink to the bottom. But when I get down there, then I'll try to come back up. Like there's no way you can't live at the bottom. You can't survive. You have to try or you will die. And if you give up trying for even a moment, that's the end. You're going to be at the bottom of the lake.
Is that coming from the boy?
I don't know where it's coming from.
Okay, you could ask him.
I don't think it's coming from.
Does it make sense to you?
It does make sense to me. That it's like I don't have any choice but to try.
Yeah, just keep reflecting, keep showing him that you're seeing what he's showing you. And it is hard. It doesn't feel good.
Well, I think the distractor's taken over. I think I lost it.
I just want to commend you and say that even if you lost it, even if you hang up right now, you've done a lot. And you're not going to forget about that boy.
No, I feel like a compulsion to protect the boy. Like more than an obligation.
Yeah. So you could try just asking that distracting part to step back. As you know, I mean, you've listened to so many of these calls, you know the approximate time this process may take, if you want to go forward and keep working with this boy in the sandbox.
I think I can be here for him. I think that I am here for him.
Great.
Like I can see him well enough to work on the connection.
Yeah, that's great. And how does he feel about that connection? Does he feel like he knows you better now? Does he feel like he can trust you?
Cautious.
Mm-hmm.
Cautious hope,
Yeah. Just let him know who you are. You're him in the future. Is there anything else he wants to show you to help you understand?
No, I think it seems as though I get it. Seems as though I've got it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you might check with him to see how he would feel about you going back into that time period to be with him in the way that he needed somebody.
Yeah, I'm there.
Great. And how are you being with him?
I'm being myself as a dad. I'm being the father for him as I am for my daughters.
Great. Ask him if there's something he wants you to do for him or with him back there.
Yeah, he just wants me to be there.
Great.
He wants to feel like someone just loves him unconditionally, that he doesn't have to perform, that he can just relax and feel loved and be loved.
Yeah.
Be held without having to provide a hug back, just be held.
Mm-hmm. Does he need you to talk to anybody or anything, change the situation in any way?
I don't know if it's coming from him, but it's everyone can just fuck off.
Yeah. When you can check with him, to what degree you're doing that for him, whether or not he wants to witness that, whatever work you're doing back in that time.
Well, I don't think he wants me to do any harm, but but what can I do so it doesn't feel unresolved?
Sure, just ask him. I mean, he's showing you that he wants that presence, and you're doing that.
Yeah, he just wants to be held.
Yeah, that might be all.
That just wants there to be an adult that's there for him. Mm-hmm. That's got him, that's unconditional.
And how's he feeling about you doing that now?
Feels worried that it's going to vanish.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's been his experience in the past, right?
Right.
Just let him know that you're not one of those external figures that comes and goes, that you're not going to forget about him, and that you will keep doing this for him from now on. You'll be that person for him.
Okay. Just like everybody else, it looks like I just need to keep showing up so that I can build trust.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, there will be days where that's harder than others. You know, there will be other parts interfering and all of that, but you can still commit to it. You can still, again, like, you're not going to forget about him, and you can just let him know that you want to do this job, that he doesn't have to rely on other people to do it. Ask if he's ready to leave that time and come with you to a safe place. That could be a fantasy place or wherever he'd like.
All right, he's with me.
Great. How's he enjoying that?
Loves it.
And where do you have him?
Oh, he's at the county fair with me right now.
Yeah.
Just tell me never has to go back. Rides, I'm just like, well, you know, company. We're just walking around, looking at the sights, and just being in each other's company.
Yeah. Just tell me he never has to go back. And then see if he's ready to unload some of those feelings, some of those burdens. Had a lot of them. See where he's carrying, ask where he's carrying those in his body.
That feels really sad. It feels so teary, man. That hurts.
Yeah. It's all in there. It's all real. Just see if he's ready to let go of some of them.
There's real hesitation to like fall into my arms, you know. There's real hesitation to trust and let go. So it's okay for now.
Yeah, and he can give it a little sample, and if he doesn't like it, he can try something else. Or you're there for him, so you two can do whatever. You'll keep trying until you find a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see where he's carrying some of those burdens in his body. And then ask what he would like to give them up to.
He wants to sit on my lap at a campfire and burn them in the campfire.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. Go ahead and set that up. Do you have him there? Tell him to do that until it's all out.
It's really vulnerable being that, that pure.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's really vulnerable. It's really courageous. And you're going to help him out.
So as I'm doing it, there's like a feeling of like self-protection keeps creeping back in.
Mm-hmm.
And like a little barrier.
Can you say more?
Yeah, like okay, I'm ready to do it, and I'm doing it and feeling unguarded and completely open, and as soon as I start feeling that way, it's like, oh, I'm taking it back.
Is that the boy feeling that way, or you?
It's something in between.
Okay, yeah. Okay, maybe you're sharing that he's sharing like he's been doing all this time. You're right there, hand in hand, experiencing all of this with him, and he's showing you just how scary it is. This unknown, this vulnerability.
Yeah, but how right it feels, but how dangerous it is.
Yeah, we have some solutions for that.
Let's hear them.
All right, sure. So ask him what qualities he would like to invite into his body.
He just wants to be good and see good.
Okay.
Just be innocent with everyone around him and see them in an innocent way, and just be a friend, be a friend for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone that doesn't need to be judged, someone that isn't hiding anything, doesn't, is just right where he should be.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you can just bring some of those qualities in. Just kind of try them out. And again, if any of this isn't right,
it's right.
You can do it again. You can do it differently. You can find another way.
Yeah, he wants me to have these qualities.
Mm-hmm.
He wants me to see him that way and treat other people that way.
I wonder if that could be translated to not letting other parts, interfere with that.
Yeah. And seeing all of my other parts with this kind of perspective.
Right.
That I'm just good and innocent, and see everybody else in that light and understand that everybody's got their
sounds like
their quirks.
He's got a lot of wisdom in understanding how the system can interfere with itself or be in alignment with itself.
That's good. It feels like you just showed me a bunch of self energy that I wasn't realizing. A bunch of myself that has been covered up.
Yeah, it's great. Sorry for talking so much, but it's like your self energy is amplified by being with him.
Yeah,
he kind of brings that out when those other parts step back, when you're able to just communicate and focus with him. That's what's so powerful about doing this work, is how much it gives back to be able to reconnect with those parts.
All right, I feel good. I feel like I've got something established.
Check with him if there's anything else that he wants to do, to share, to let go of, to invite in, to commit to with you, to brainstorm.
He just wants to spend more time with me. That's really all.
Yeah.
Wants company, wants companionship.
Is that something you can commit to now, or is that something you want to work on, again, brainstorming with him how that would be? Or
no, I can absolutely do it, and continue the conversation and see if there are other ways.
Yes.
It's like a brand new relationship, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
With my little buddy.
That's right. Okay, you could try bringing in some of those other protectors, just to show them your work, show them that they don't have to work so hard protecting this part or exiling this part.
Okay.
And if it feels right, you could also kind of invite them to have their own fire, or their own little process. If any of them would like to give something up or change now that you've established this space.
That's like a group consensus that I'd really just want to spend time with this.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, that's the right. I think this is the right spot to stop.
Great. Thank you. Thanks to all your parts.
Thank you, James.
Yeah. Hope to talk soon.
Yeah, man. Talk soon.
All right.
Woo. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.